Everybody is chasing Apple right now, and Qualcomm and MediaTek are starting to look a little desperate because, according to new leaks, both companies are jumping straight to TSMC's new 2nm process for their next flagship chips. And yeah, that sounds exciting at first. Smaller numbers usually mean faster phones, better battery life, more power, all that good stuff. But here's the problem nobody is really talking about. This could make flagship Android phones way more expensive. Right now, Apple is still dominating when it comes to raw chip performance, especially single-core speed. iPhones just feel insanely fast because Apple's chips are ridiculously optimized. Qualcomm and MediaTek have improved a lot over the years, but they still hate being behind Apple in benchmarks and performance comparisons. And honestly, it feels like they're now obsessed with finally catching up. So what are they doing? They're moving to TSMC's advanced 2nm N2P process, earlier than expected. Basically, this is a newer and more powerful manufacturing process that can help chips run faster and more efficiently. That means higher clock speeds, better gaming performance, stronger AI features, possibly better battery life too. And most importantly, better benchmark scores against Apple's A20 chips coming next year. That's the real goal here. Qualcomm especially wants the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 to finally stand toe-to-toe with Apple's next iPhone chip. Same thing with MediaTek and the Dimensity 9600. But here's where things get messy. Making 2nm chips is insanely expensive, like really expensive. Leaks are saying these new chips could cost around 20% more than current flagship processors. And remember, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 was already rumored to cost around $280 per chip. That's just the processor alone. Now imagine phone companies trying to build a full flagship phone around that, while also dealing with expensive cameras, displays, batteries, cooling systems, and even now a DRAM shortage making memory prices go up too. At some point, somebody has to pay for all this, and usually it's us. This is why there's now talk that Qualcomm may split its lineup into two directions. One version would be the super expensive cutting-edge 2nm chip, probably called something like the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro. Then another cheaper version would stay on 3nm, so more phone brands can actually afford to use it. And honestly, that might be the smartest move, because not every company can suddenly release a $1,500 flagship phone and expect people to buy it, especially Android brands. Apple can get away with crazy prices because iPhones sell no matter what, but Android brands compete with each other non-stop. If one brand increases prices too much, people just move to another phone. That's the dangerous part here. Qualcomm and MediaTek are so focused on beating Apple in performance, they might accidentally hurt Android phones in the process. And I get it, nobody wants to lose the performance crown every year, especially when Apple fans constantly flex benchmark scores online. But real users care about more than benchmarks. People want good battery life, cool temperatures, stable gaming, good cameras, and phones that don't cost a fortune. If these 2nm chips become too expensive, smartphone brands might avoid them completely, or they'll only appear in ultra-premium phones that most people won't buy. And honestly, that would be bad for everybody. What's also interesting is MediaTek's situation. Qualcomm at least seems prepared with both 2nm and 3nm options, but MediaTek hasn't really shown its backup plan yet. So now people are wondering, will MediaTek also split its lineup? Will they keep cheaper chips on 3nm, or will they fully commit to expensive 2nm flagships? Because depending only on ultra-premium chips is risky, very risky, especially now when the smartphone market isn't growing like before. People keep phones longer now, upgrades are slower, and consumers are becoming way more careful with money. So if Qualcomm and MediaTek push too hard chasing Apple, they might create insanely powerful chips that barely any phone company wants to use. And that would be kind of ironic. Imagine finally catching Apple in performance, but losing mass adoption because the chips became too expensive. That's the situation right now. The next few years in mobile tech are about to get very interesting.